Well, at 9:55 a.m., as we head towards the end of this morning's broadcast, we are now bringing you a press release that was issued on the 10th of February about South Africa's youngest and newest airline to launch in May 2023. And together with that, we are talking amongst other issues as well, where we are talking about things like cadet pilot training programs. We're talking about uh, Amrho tourism in conjunction with, and I'm sure the both my guests will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm reading into a Fly. What's it, Toucan or is it Toucan? But we are joined by Naseer Ismail, CEO and Head of Operations at the Amrho Aviation, and Murad Ismail, Chairperson, both of them on screen with me. To both of you, Naseer and Murad, Assalamu alaikum, Jummah Mubarak, and welcome.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Juma Mubarak.
Yes,
Uh,
Naseer, how do I pronounce it? Toucan.
Fly Toucan,
Is
like
it
the bird.
okay? Okay, Toucan. Okay, there we go. Right now, I've seen this press release, and Murad, this press release obviously has been signed, where it talks about media inquiries. Contact Naseer Ismail. Tell us about this launch of this newest and youngest airline.
You can go. Okay, I just want to correct something. I'm the chairperson of the Amrho Group, and the is the CEO of Fly Toucan. So it's his
Okay,
airline. He started this airline, and I'm just assisting him to get it online. And he supplies these flight capacities into our packaging department, which is under Amrho Tourism. So
all
just
right.
to correct the perception,
Thanks for
um,
clarifying.
yeah. So he's the youngest CEO, I reckon, for an airline. I think he might have beaten me as well. Anyway, he's he's a very passionate about the aviation and tourism business, and I take no responsibility for that. Right. So what happens is this airline business, and people always ask, why are you starting an airline in these crazy times? Well, I can tell you something. Uh, the crazy times are technically over. The good times are ahead, and you better be ready for it. So people are tired of staying at home. They all want to go on holiday. They want to go tourism. They want to do travel. Even the Zoom calls are getting less and less, and the people are starting to go more and more with physical contact. So we are creatures of habit. We like contact. So that's what's good for the tourism and aviation business. So we got our international charter license and a general license. We're waiting for the schedule license to be finalized, and then we are busy with the domestic license. And as far as the Fly Toucan brand goes, that should be sorted out basically within the next 30 days or 45 days. We are also busy with an AOC, so at the CAA to enable all of these operations to commence by May. Now, we've got all the requirements to make these things happen. The most important thing we need to get, however, now is to get people on board, training people for the different types of jobs that we got. And we got some exciting things for pilots, post matric pilots, as well as pilots that are prospective in grades 10, 11, and 12. We have made it affordable for parents to enter the game without the exorbitant loan requirements and stuff like that. And we've also got jobs lined up. By the way, all of these trainings comes with a job at the end of the training. We have a cabin crew tachographs job, which is a specialized requirement, so that we can open up rural tourism. And rural tourism is very close to the heart of the government, as well as our own requirements, where we were looking at opening up 11 eco lodges in South Africa and flying to these eco lodges. We also need consultants to sell these products because we want to have our own distribution network. So we're using consultants, that is people that can work part time, and they can do it from their house, from their office, from a coffee shop. They can sell from outside the country, inside the country. And then we have mall stores, which we are opening up in the shopping malls. There are 1,750 shopping malls in South Africa, and we're opening them up in 550 of these malls and about 350 container pods in the townships. So as you can see, we've made it very viable for everybody at different interests, entrepreneurs, people that just want to work, and people that want to see the world and travel. So this is what we've made available on this specific weekend, which is our open day, which is occurring on Saturday and Sunday. And they can make bookings using the QR code on that pamphlet we gave you, which has got Calcosa written on it, or they can use the link which you put inside the private chat. They can go and make bookings for that. It's free entry. There's no charge. We'll even give you some catering so you're not going to get hungry and thirsty. So
Yes.
back to you.
Yeah, I just want to bring Nasir into the discussion. Now, from what Murad has actually explained and looking at your press release as well, there is a lot of focus on tourism, and also your comment in the press release saying that Fly Toucan is truly Africa's first and only airline that caters for the tourism industry. So there is a huge gap. There is a huge market in the tourism industry and the type of services that Fly Toucan can provide.
Yes, so we've changed the focus of our main primary business is to be based on a leisure traveler. You know, the business over the past 2 3 years has slowed down for the business traveler. They've been using Zoom quite a bit, and in South Africa specifically, it's still okay to use the Zoom calls for the meetings. However, those legacy carriers, such as our competition, Safair, Airlink, South African Airways, and Seme, all cater for the businessman travel. So they fly high frequency routes, and they need lots of businessman travel to make those routes viable. And um, we focus mainly on the tourist side. So we're going to all these tourist destinations. We even created a new Amrho Air Hopper network where we go right into these smaller towns, and those ones we can feed the government, we can feed local and international tourists and the businessmen as our ancillary income.
Yes. Now, just also, Murad, it's interesting that you're speaking about these training programs and job creation at the same time, and looking at how this is actually going to tie in with your vision, with your launch, looking at it from a timing perspective. I know the launch is in May 2023. What sort of time frame are you looking at before it's all systems go for you?
Well, we're going to start operating in May. There's no maybes about that. We actually got some other stuff that is running in the rest of Africa. We're busy with Hajj and Umrah operations in West Africa. So we should be operating those for the Hajj season. And South Africa is a very small market for our type of product from a Hajj perspective. However, from an Umrah perspective, we'll be running, we would like to run the package flights at the moment until the schedule license can be granted. And we'll be flying between here and Saudi Arabia, Aqaba, and Johannesburg on a triangulated basis. So it means we can open up 3 harems tours essentially with minimal stress and very good packaging options. Um, so that's our continuous business throughout the year. And from a South African perspective, from a West African perspective, we'll have the Hajj operation running as well as the Umrah operations. And they'll be running 2 times a week frequency from West Africa, building up to 3 times a week. And from Johannesburg, we're looking at twice a week using certain stops along the way for the second frequency. So we're
Yes.
just trying to tie up those initially.
Also, Murad, just looking at what is due to take place tomorrow and on Sunday, this open day that you speak of, and it is clear that there is going to be a focus on opportunities within the aviation industry, and also at the same time, you speak about independent travel consultants. You're talking about cadet pilot training programs. So there is huge opportunity from what you are saying that in the aviation industry, and you can be or you can facilitate the interest, not only the interest in the career, but for people actually serious about wanting making a career out of the aviation and travel industry.
That is absolutely correct. And we're even going one step further. We want to allow communities in the various rural areas to actually own the aircraft equipment. We don't necessarily want to own all the equipment. So we're quite happy to allow communities to own some of the equipment and put them into the network. and essentially build up that community by training their pilots, 2 or 3 pilots there, a couple of tachographs, and essentially uh, you need to understand what we're trying to do here is trying to make sure that the type of person that we're training up is not a normal cabin crew or a normal ground person. Our program is a TACOGOPS, which is an acronym for Tourism, Aviation, Cabin Crew, and Ground Crew Operations. So they train them in 5 different functions. And so we train them as a cabin crew on an aircraft, cabin crew on a bus. We train them as GDS operators on Amadeus, as well as the travel port product Galileo, which you know as. And we train them in sales and marketing. We train them in tour management. And so we use them in a multifunctional way, thus reducing our costs for rural tourism. If you don't do it this way, you cannot open up rural tourism. So that's why we created this particular type of person called a tachogops, and it really works well for us. It's not only restricted to flights; it's also give you an example. They can be doing a package to Miami, Florida for Disney World, for example, and they could be away for 2 weeks, and we might have a group of 100 people with 3 or 4 tachogops managing them, and then they would go over to the US and have a 2 week technically a 2 week holiday. I don't know if it's so much of a holiday for the tachographs personnel because they'll be working flat out to make sure everything's working 100%. And we look at developing this for that particular purpose as well. And then the last thing with the tachographs is we use them in our school excursion programs. So we have a target that we have put on ourselves of 2,000 schools over the next 3 years. And we have a target for the first year of 250 schools. So we're going to allow these school excursions to be operated. We have our own bus, and we'll be hiring a lot of buses as well. And if there are any investors that want to invest in actual buses or aircraft, we are open to those type of discussions.
Yes. Now I see all the information would be on the website with regard to the open date tomorrow, Murad.
Yes, it's on the website, but it's also we're giving you a couple of pamphlets, electronic pamphlets. I don't know what you call them, stickers, I suppose. Eh?
And there's a QR code on them. I've also shared the Cricket website where you can purchase tickets on there. They're all free of charge. It's just for allocation and crowd control purposes, so that you need them to be booked. And we know there's 8 time slots over the weekend, so 4 on Saturday and 4 on Sunday.
9, 11, 1, and 3. And the presentation we do is a 1 hour presentation of everything. And then they break away to different areas wherever their interest lies.
And where is this taking place?
This is taking place at our head office in Kensington, Bedford View border. And it's if you click on the QR code and you book the ticket on Quicket, it'll give you the location as well, because it's on the Quicket site. But we'll make, for those that are out of town, for example, like away from Johannesburg area and Gauteng area, let's say, then we are going to hold a Zoom meeting on Monday at 3:30. Monday being the, what's Monday's date? 18, 19, 20th in the afternoon at 3:30. So then we'll make that link available. Even if you're out of town, you are required to register on the website, on the Quicket ticket portfolio, and book the last session and put inside there the comment that you're requesting a Zoom link because you're out of town, and let's indicate where you are. And then on Monday, we'll do that briefing, full 1 hour briefing on the Zoom link. And then whatever interests you, you can then send us an email and then we'll engage with you specifically.
Well, to Naseer and Murad, Jazakallah to both of you for coming on and sharing what you have with us. We wish you all the best, inshallah, with the launch as well, and also tomorrow and Sunday in terms of the various initiatives that you've embarked upon. I believe that these are exciting times. Clearly, there is a huge opportunity here, both, from a tourism perspective, but also at the same time, at a time when people are looking at careers, when people want to further themselves as well. So, an entire holistic approach to what you are trying to achieve. So, to both of you, We thank you for that, for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum
Okay.
assalam.
Jazakallah, and thank you for the opportunity. And we hope that all your listeners will take it up and make hay while the sun shines.
Well, inshallah, we certainly hope so. Have a great Jummah as well. And assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
Alaikum
assalam.
salam.
Murad and Naseer Ismail with us this morning, and that brings us to the end of this morning's broadcast of News and Views. And next up is going to be Juice 26, Sheikh Tawfiq Ibn As-Sayyid. And have yourself a great Jummah, a spiritually uplifting Jummah. Let us recite abundant durud on our beloved Master Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let us recite Surah Kahf. And tonight we know programs right across the country, various massages as well, the Isra and Mi'raj programs that will be held at all the massages right across South Africa. So have yourself a wonderful day, a great weekend, inshallah. And until we meet again, from myself and the team, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.